So I have to give myself an appraisal. Sometimes I need to smoke cigarettes because it helps with the skin. I don't know why it does, but it does with me. If I chain smoked all the time, cigarettes, I would look really young still because it affects me differently. But I prefer aging skin over smoking cigarettes. That's just a personal choice. So, yeah. So I'm going to give myself an appraisal. This is why, like, I try so hard not to take things personally and still allow myself to go through my flow. Some of my emotions are linked to how the earth and the sun feels. Some of it's linked to health and science, and it's why I refuse to even hate my neighbours and stuff like that, ethics crimes and stuff like that. So I had some cigarettes, I don't know where I put them. Bought these a few days ago. I had one yesterday. One. That's amazing, isn't it? This isn't appraisals, and I've had one. I had one cigarette yesterday, and I'm having one now. And I probably won't have another one. So here's why I'm doing my appraisal. Came up with the new Bond movie. For the next Bond movie that we have is a woman similar in my circumstances who has had a similar experience to me. This is my movie, this is my life. The whole story I've told about what happened to me and the abuse and the family mafia and maybe being stolen as a baby girl, not being Christ-like and just leave the Jesus stuff out, and being stolen as a baby girl and being trafficked and sold again and sold again. And how, like, she finds out somehow that somebody had left her loads of money, but she was trying to be killed off, and trauma of her kids being sold into that lifestyle too, and being stolen from her by the family that had stolen her from somebody else as a baby. And then she starts getting incriminated for things by like bank coppers and all this stuff because they need to get rid of her because they killed her off because they had a life insurance policy out on her. And then they killed her off, but like she came back somehow. You lot made that up, and she had the feds and all the legal kind of police that you can on her case, like trying the hardest with the most intelligent of people to incriminate her for multiple crimes in her hometown with her own family and for like terrorism and all that stuff, and how she runs away, and she's constantly, it's like Jason Bourne style, fugitive style, and on that way that she's a right way because of the connections of the family that she left, the mafia, whatever they want to call themselves. And I'm not incriminating them, I'm just telling you my story of how we get to a female 007. And she'd always had pipe dreams of being a spy as a little girl, and she'd always had rose tinted glasses to lenses, so she never had to deal with the trauma of what had happened. And on that journey of fear and panic and knowing that she was being set up for crimes that she hadn't committed, she ran to try and still leaving notes for the services of letting them know what she was up to and how she was thinking and finding things out, and just staying one step ahead or two steps ahead enough, and kind of some of them sitting back, giving me time to stay a couple of steps ahead because, like, they started really thinking about things I was saying. And on that journey, like, it impacted their lives. So they kind of let me stay a couple of steps ahead because they was rooting for me in the background. Some of them were like Jason Bourne, like, we need to help her kind of thing. When the agent goes, we need to help him find out what's going on. No one's told me though. And then she wins the favour of all these forces that was attached to these mafias and covered for them and did dirty dealings and everything. And she won the favour of them. And because she was observed on that journey, like not Jesus style, but spiritually, and she grew up, but she still kept the heart and mind of a child of Neverland, and still kept that hero movie thing. And then all them forces that, even the darker sides of the forces, well, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, all them, she won all their favour and respect. And she proved herself to be extremely highly favoured. You know, MI5, MI6 and all that, they just went, after like everyone had tried the hardest to set her up for multiple crimes, and on that journey of a fugitive for a couple of weeks here or there, people tried to implicate her in more crimes because they was also connected to everywhere. Because she's thought on her feet and she tried as hard as she could to prove her innocence, and they still kept on like sitting back and letting her get ahead and stuff like that. She became the next 007, and that's the end of the movie. A whole movie on how you have one of your other agents or the whole thing following her, and your Bond's following her, and all the Bonds had kind of been exposed to be bad, but kind of not. Because there's no Bond, is there? I think the last one he left, did he die? So the search is for like you've got a 006 or something. That's appropriate and fitting, isn't it? Who's on my case? We might as well use the mark of the beast. There's no 007. I think in the last one was, did you get a 006 on her case? Because he's a hard ass bastard. He don't care. He's disgruntled with his job. Never made it 007. Been agent like most of them. Some of them became. And as she leaves notes and messages about how she's doing in love, then starts to touch his soul. And he lets her stay one step ahead or a couple of steps ahead. Or let it feel like that for her. Not stepping in and sitting back, people sitting back. And she becomes 007. That's my second appraisal. How I became 007, the movie, copywritten, and pay up. And that's my movie. I don't need to write a book on Jesus Christ. That's my movie. And there's so many levels in it, that movie, that people can see different things, even spiritualist people and people who have been abused. It's got so much depth into that character. So I suppose that's another appraisal of winning favour. And the other one is like, part of my appraisal is, like there was a thing on the news that about the man who got charged with murder. He'd done that thing with the boxes and stuff like that. So if that's true, which apparently it is, I stay in my natural flow. I don't like listening to too much dark rap music, but I did today. So obviously I was supposed to. I allow myself to get angry and sad about it. That's more important as justice as my job, like it's important to stay in my natural flow because of the energies I pick up, and I have to. People say you need to protect your energy, but I don't, because like I'll go back to love and light easy, but I have to be like allow myself to feel their energy like impact on mine, so I can pick up stuff. I don't consciously allow it. I'm just aware. And you guys have learned now that if I'm losing my shit, like now, people have sat back enough to go, oh, actually, it really is linked to this, so it's true. So today, like, I sang in the church and I sat by the church roasting. Sun's on the PVC, and I sat by the church and felt called into it. You couldn't hear the music outside, but I did feel called into the church. And I just felt this drawing towards me. So I don't know if people were tugging on my energy, battle a curse on again. And when I went in, they had organ music on, but I just didn't know if it was just a tape in the background, to be honest with you. And, there was loads of old people just sitting in there, dotted around. Older people, all my age. I'm probably older than them. And that's another appraisal. And I had a word in there. The music was loud, so I had a word in there with the man upstairs. And I think when I was saying, like, these world leaders, like, I was talking about them in there, but, like, also, like, the case, the way I profiled it was perfect. And the people who watch and listen to me on these cases now know that, like, I'm on the money with these cases, like, energetic wise. Organs. And I said something about organ donation when I left as well. And when I went on my video afterwards, and I sat down on the, on the, on the earth and just grounded myself because of all that energy today. Just let the earth absorb all that stress and that excessive energy, because it was like getting to adrenaline style energy. So I said that on the phone, didn't I, about the church and the keeping the secret and the confessions and everything like that. So I profiled that case like perfectly on an energetic level. And so they knew then that that was maybe like that was the exact case I was on. And it's absolutely fantabulous the way, like, with the boxes and what he did, what was on the TV, and the organ playing and stuff like that. And what I said, and just for that, like, there was loads of other ones in print, but just for that. So I'm giving myself an appraisal for that and saying that, justifying to myself or letting myself know that it's okay. And that's why I'm reminding myself to not take things personally, and but allow myself to go through them emotions and know something to link to that, and the sun and the earth. And the CBD stick I lost a week ago, I found under the sofa. Divine plan that was. I needed it after today. There's no way I was going to get to yoga tonight. There was no way I was going to get in and go back out again in an hour. Spend an hour and a half, 90 minutes on a Friday. Walking there, it would have been 90 minutes walking there or 90 minutes in the rush hour traffic. There was no way. If I had the car course, I would have gone. So it's more important for me to ground my energy. And sometimes Paresh's Friday night is Paresh's class. And sometimes, depending on what flow Paresh is doing, I can feel more set off again. And because I've already done my glute stretches, 2 deep glute stretches twice this week, and today, like, the best thing energetically I could do is stay in, like, 90 minutes in rush hour going there, whether I walked there or got the bus, it would have been my energy needed. So that's another appraisal, acknowledging about why I stayed in and why it wasn't worth it. Going out, this week I've done really well because I've got off my arse. I have gone to yoga on Monday. I have managed to get my bank card unlocked so I could buy a bus pass. I put that off for nearly a month. Addressed some things about posts, so that's fine. I've understood more in the last week, and the way the car thing worked out now for everybody. Looking back, it was actually the best thing for me. for loads of other reasons not to drive. So that's worked out okay. I'm not talking about the planet effect. I'm just talking about everything else. So okay, another bit of appraisal. Why is that important? Because I can't worry about what happens in that ball of gas in the sky this one. I can't. What's going to happen with that will happen now. What happened was with the Earth. What happened to the Earth? I can't control any of that, and I won't try. It's just like the whole fucking global crisis ecologically is just it's spiraled completely out of control now. But if I think about that too much, then like my thoughts could manifest it. So I just try and ignore it. Everything will be all right. It's all part of divine timing. The universe is unfolding just as it should do. Them kind of mantras to myself. And acknowledging my feelings and not being stubborn and allowing myself to talk to you lot and being a guide and receiving guidance and even if I'm bitching and moaning about money or other people, look, I feel bad because look, sometimes I say they're world leaders, but when I'm saying that, I'm normally talking about probably the people around me there. Sometimes I say Bojo and it's not, it's just an anything. Sometimes I say Paresh or Marie, and like, yeah, and it's not them, it's another thing. People are starting to notice this, and I'm forgiving myself for that. Knowing that I haven't got hate people, it's just, I just choose their names. It's not normally about them, it's normally because like there's an energetic thing there. And that meditation with Marie yesterday was lovely because the meditation, she knew exactly what I needed. I am going to allow myself to have my feelings and not see either one as good or bad, just acknowledge them. And I've kind of been doing that. Today I'm allowing myself to be angry. Today I'm allowing myself to be sad. And seeing that just as a natural flow. That's extremely evolved and brave to be like that. And honest. There's another appraisal. Somebody's saying this to me. This is a message for me now. This last few minutes is a message for me. Someone's saying this to me. Holy Spirit itself. Somebody, some very nice, loving, comforting spirit here. Angelic, divine spirit is saying these things softly to me, energetically, and I just, I just feel like now wrapped in another angel's wings, like somebody's put me under their wing and they're giving me an angelic divine hug and saying, Sharon, you're doing really well. That feels beautiful to know that I feel a beautiful presence here saying, Sharon, you're doing so well. Yes, I am high, people. I've had about 6 or 7 puffs on that just CBD oil, and I'm giving myself an appraisal, and I'm receiving an appraisal. It's like I mean, when I was saying on the last video, it's like extinction level. I was thinking to myself, like, this is my soul or my spirit saying to me, or some divine thing saying to me, you've hit extinction level. I did think that, but it's nice to have this beautiful, warm, fuzzy presence here telling me how well I'm doing. And I know, like Jordan the Chosen, when he does his videos and he's starting to realise some things, that's just from my journey, but just from listening back to his videos and realising he is speaking to himself and he's like, I'm doing so well. But I'm going to take that advice from him. I'll walk in the room sometimes like I own it. I'll probably do everywhere. And I'm like, yes, I just walk around with the energetic vibration, even when I'm angry or like a thunderstorm saying, with the energy of, I am highly favoured and blessed. Even if I'm purging my soul and crying my heart out for 3 hours on a main road by the bellwether and just purging all that suffering out. So I've had an emotional week, but it's been very enjoyable. And so this bit feels now like there's no one there. This bit feels like the end of a hostage terrorist situation that they played on me in the police cadets when we volunteered and we sat on the bus, and at the end all the someone's saying exactly at the end of this is the horrific situation, the squad come out and they like all like give you a little you all what kind of thing. So that's what it feels like, an energetic hug off a divine being going. You're at the end of the hostage situation now. It's okay. You gave us a story of your movie. That's the next testament. That's how we, the movie of how we get to a female 007. That's the movie of your life. How you was a complete underdog and everybody bet against you, or everyone who bet against you has regretted it. And in that story, like, that's what I when she go into the when she actually becomes a Bond and she has a partner, because she doesn't know the system enough. She actually has to have a proper Bond partner to make sure she sticks to the rules properly, but stays in a natural flow. Like, she'll tell him the stories when she actually the proper movie too. When she is a Bond, like she'll be telling stories like of her psychotic breaks in between, or what could be considered that. But she was obsessed with movies, and she never knew, like, the power of her imagination. Like, as she went through her life, like, she adapted to different characters, which is why would she be around them when they looked at everything? They went to, like, she learned all her life and she didn't even know she was learning. She didn't know she was graduating. The odds were stacked completely against her. She won the universe lottery. This is what someone was saying to me. The odds were stacked against you. You was doing it all by yourself all the time. Then you learn to see little bits of help. And then you learned about manifesting your own universe, your own reality. So I wanted to be the hero in my own movie. And I chose a character between Lois Lane and Wonder Woman last year. I thought about a story, not a storyline, but that kind of character, that person. And the odds were stacked against me, but I manifested my own character. And I never overthought it, and I just went with my flow, and all that shit was going on, which is part of she was fugitive on the run. And instead of ending up in prison for multiple crimes and convictions that she didn't commit, she became the first ever female 007. And I hope someone's going to give me some money from this storyline, because this is my story, my story. It's copywritten, my character. That I created, that I manifested. And manifested me. I manifested the character that I wanted to be. And I got by with a bit of help from my friends, with the odds completely stacked against me. And people don't know how I did it, but I did. They know how I did it because they watched. Some of these agents on my case felt that they could feel the buzz and the pure anxiety from the fear porn. So this is my message. The last 10, 15 minutes of this is my message from someone. My appraisal. The appraisal I gave myself and the appraisal I'm getting off the universe, of God Himself, of the Creator. Buzzing, as you can see. Blessed. Highly favoured, highly protected. Blessed. I'm absolutely blessed. I'm blessed to the high heavens. I'm blessed to hell and back. I'm blessed myself in hell. Bless myself everywhere. Absolutely blessed. And I still suffer. So I'm enjoying my now moment, and I'll watch this back and keep this video for a bit. You should be really proud of yourself, Sharon. High five. Sonia's Sonia's been here. Her energetic vibration has been here today in Birmingham, around and about. Just or maybe she's been praying for me and sending me love, and so she came through today, energetically, thought wise, sending me healing love and a bit of attitude and a bit of determination. Thank you, Sonia. They're there. I don't like talking about them all the time because like, I might touching her, but like Auntie Anne, I feel her sometimes. They just put their wings around me, picking me up and looking after me. And I have let go of the illusion of the life I thought I had. People think I'm not ready to know the truth because they just want to delay it. I have completely let go of the illusion of the life I thought I had. And to help me do that, I manifested the person I wanted to be. I wanted to become my ultimate superhero. I wanted to become a female James Bond, the first 007. First female 007. And if I live another year or two, then I will get to have a version of the 006 who was on my case all the time, who absolutely loved and adored me and was so well bent on everything to begin with, and have to teach me how to stick to the rules at times and allow me to. I suppose the next movie on, when she actually gets acknowledged for doing that job, but still bimble. The role is to go completely bimble about as I do the camper van, driving around or whatever, and the 006, she still doesn't know me or whatever. Like they just have to keep on bumping into her in the yoga class or at a campsite occasionally, going an awkward love romance that never gets off the ground. That's rose tinted. Why not think about things like that? I still have hope that I might be with someone. I feel people's energies, don't I? Say no more. I don't know what anyone looks like though. And I was knackered when I came in, and sitting here relaxing and talking to myself in a loving way and accepting loving vibrations and having that cigarette. My skin's perked up again because I am energetically sharing with myself on the phone, and my soul is speaking to me, going, "You are beautiful and you're doing really well." And I'm feeling that love I'm giving myself. So I'm regenerating. I'm not dependent on any codependent on anybody else to take their energy to regenerate. As long as like I can relax and stay in my flow, then perked up. That's it. Blessed.